Whenever I'm traveling or meeting someone for the first time and they find out I'm one of Dave Ramsey's daughters, the first question they always ask me is, what was it like growing up as Dave Ramsey's kid? And my answer is always that it was pretty normal because I thought that's what life was like. And now that I've become an adult and I look back on my childhood, I've realized a lot of the things Mom and Dad did for us kids was not normal at all. For instance, Mom and Dad, they never put us on an allowance. We were always on a commission. So you work, you get paid, you don't work, you don't get paid. Kind of like the real world, and it's good to learn that when you're 5. And so we learned how to work, and we worked hard. I can remember going to the office with Dad when I was in elementary school, and so I remember driving down the interstate with him, and he was just giving me the talk of, Rachel, you're a Ramsey, you work harder than everyone else. Everyone's gonna be looking at you, and the way you work defines your character, how you're shaped. You're a Ramsey, Rachel, that's what you have to remember. You have to work hard. This all depends on your first impression. And we go on and on about this, and I think I was in the 4th grade. And so I look back and it's kind of extreme stuff, but that's really shaped who I am today. Another thing that Mom and Dad did with us Ramsey kids is they took the amount of money that they would normally spend on us and they put it just in a separate checking account. And we were in charge of our own checking account. And I remember coming home from school one day and there was a letter sitting on the kitchen counter, and I opened it up and the letter was informing me that I had bounced 3 checks. So yes, Dave Ramsey's kid, I bounced 3 checks. And I remember Dad came home from work that day and I showed him the letter and said, you know, no excuses, I did this. And I remember he wasn't mad, he didn't get angry, he just said, okay, Rachel, you're gonna go down to the bank first thing in the morning and go and speak to the executive bank branch manager and apologize to him for lying. Because you told him that you had money in his bank to spend and you didn't. And that was a lie, you lied. And, you know, just shock came over me. And I remember the next morning, I couldn't even drive to the bank. I was only 15, so my mom had to take me. And I remember walking into that guy's office and I just told him, sir, I bounced 3 checks and I've lied to you. I told you that I had money in your bank to spend and I didn't, and that was a lie, and I'm sorry, and I'm here to ask your forgiveness. I look at that, I'm like, is that extreme? But in essence, I don't think it is, because as a 15-year-old kid, what a great lesson to learn. I've been traveling around the country talking to college students, and I'm seeing this thing happening. And it's this idea that debt is normal. They're going into student loan debt, they're going into credit card debt. And I'm looking at this college student, I'm thinking, okay, you're not dumb, you're not stupid. What is it that's making you fall into this trap? And I'm realizing that there is such a lack of knowledge out there in that age group. You know, they graduate from high school and no one taught them how to stay out of debt. No one taught them what it looks like through working through school or living on a budget, living on less than you make. No one taught them this stuff. So they sign their life away to a student loan, sign up for a credit card, and they don't think it's a big deal. And they think, I'll deal with that later. So when I'm talking to these students, I'm showing them the importance of the habits they're forming now are going to affect them in the next 40 years. You know, we live in such a culture today that is so about just getting what you want when you want it. There's no patience, there's no saving up for things. It's all about right now. And so I'm talking to people, whether they're 18 or they're 50, this idea of just having patience is so, so key, and not just this instant gratification. And that's hard because our culture today is all about that. All the messages around us are pointing to just get it right now, just get it right now. And I'm trying to convey a message, one of just save up and pay for it. Whether you're a leader at a church or an organization or a university, you know, teaching your people this stuff is huge. You know, college students, for instance, the #1 reason they drop out of school isn't grades, it's not academic reasons, it's financial reasons. So keeping your students financially aware of what they're doing, that's gonna keep them in school. And if you're a pastor, teaching your congregation this stuff, you guys, they need to know this because they're leaders of their families. And if they know this, they're gonna be able to give like no one else. They're gonna be able to share, and they're gonna be able to help people. You're gonna have a better congregation when they're financially sound and in control of their money. Because that is my personal story. You know, mine is one of not filing for bankruptcy like my parents. Mine is one of knowing this stuff from as long back as I can remember. And that's become a part of who I am, of how to manage my money. And yes, I'm not perfect by any means when it comes to handling money, but I do know what I'm doing, and learning this stuff and knowing how to run a household budget at 16 years old, you know, that helped me through college, knowing how to handle my money. When I got married, that relieved so much stress. And that's what I want to encourage, you know, when I'm talking to teenagers or college students, telling them, you guys, start now. And when I'm talking to parents, I'm saying, start now with your kids. Teach them this stuff. It's never too early to teach your kids how to handle money.